Welcome to StogieBoys Pigskin Preview Week 4. Glenn here, and my buddy Paulie. We're here to join you and talk about week number 4 of the NFL season. But before we get into that, Paulie, why don't we talk about some things that happened this past week, week 3. What's your thoughts?
Well, Glenn, before we talk about last week, I'm smoking a Drew Estate Tabac Especial, an excellent cigar.
Oh, yes, great, Grey Cliff limited edition. I love it. It's my smoothest cigar overall. If you're someone that does not like a harsh cigar but love the taste of cigars, this is what you want.
Can't argue with you there. Well, as far as week 3 of the NFL, there were a couple of teams that really stood out. I think they may have been lost at the beginning of the season after the last few years, but everyone knows about them now. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions.
Buffalo.
What do you like about what the Bills did, Glenn?
Well, what don't you like? You see my hat. You and I were at the game enjoying ourselves. You see, by the way, I have the LSU beads. We enjoyed the LSU victory in West Virginia the night before. It made for a long weekend. Yeah. Wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But anyway, basically, Paulie, we scoured the internet. We couldn't find another outlet that picked the Buffalo Bills last week. Not one. We had some guys pick them to cover the 8.5, whatever it was, spread.
Something like that, yeah.
Nobody picked them to win except who?
Glen and Paulie.
Glen and Paul, StogieBoys.com. We have a little inside information, you know. A lot of those NFL players are cigar smokers, so they let us know if they're going to win or lose.
That's right.
You know, in a particular week. So the Bills that was a great thing. Also hot, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, for sure. Detroit looks phenomenal. Get off to a 3-0 start just like the Bills. Did it in a very similar fashion. They exercised their demons this week against the Vikings. They had lost 13 straight up until Sunday. And they did it as well coming from behind 20-0 against the Vikings.
Yeah, so very impressive.
Hats off to the Detroit Lions.
And then you know what? This week the rich keep getting richer. You have Nick Fairley's cleared to play. This is going to be his first game back.
That's true. Watch out.
Watch out. What about, those are some hot teams. What about the guys not so hot?
Well, I hate to bring it up, but how about your buddy Michael Vick in the Philadelphia Eagles, you were high on? How's he doing for your fantasy team?
Hey, listen.
1 and 2, gets injured.
Fantasy points aren't wins, right? We all know fantasy doesn't equal wins. So from a fantasy standpoint, Michael Vick's still going to get you points. Sometimes he'll get as many points in a half as some other guys are getting a whole game.
Not when he's throwing interceptions and dropping the ball.
Let me tell you something. The guy gets hit after the whistle every play. He complained about it. He did come back off of that after his comments everyone's familiar with. He's just angry. The team is just so good that it's hard to imagine they will stay down that long. Now, the big key is going to be, of course, Michael Vick.
Yeah, agree with you there.
And speaking of that, how about the Raiders? Someone, I won't say who, really said, oh, the Raiders are fake. What the hell is that?
Hey,
the Raiders are fake.
I must admit that they are much stronger than I gave them credit for a couple of weeks ago.
Makes the Bills 3-0 look even better, doesn't it?
That's true. That is true.
Well, let's talk about week 4.
All right. Okay, Glenn. First game for us this week is the Jets at the Ravens. Both teams come in at 2-1. Ravens are in first place. Jets are tied for second place in the AFC East. What do you think about this game? Well,
I've been lambasting the Jets for the last 3 weeks. I just don't like them really as a team. I do think, however, they're the top level of, say, Tier 2. Maybe team 4 through 6. They're in that range in the AFC East. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they have the defensive depth in the secondary to eliminate Flacco's once-in-a-lifetime performance of last week. And I think the Jets are going to win the game.
I don't know about that, Glenn, honestly. The Ravens look awful tough. They annihilated, as they should have, they annihilated the St. Louis Rams last week.
St. Louis Rams.
And
Didn't they have, I think they had one of the cheerleaders in at left guard. I'm pretty sure one of the cheerleaders played left guard in the second half.
Flacco, Ray Rice, and company are a little too tough for the Jets this week. I think Ray Rice has got over 400 yards of total offense. He's doing it running and catching the ball. And they're going to run Ray Rice right up the gut on these guys, soften up that secondary a little bit, and he's going to Torrey Smith and Anquan Boldin.
You're really on the Torrey Smith bandwagon? Did you sign him this week to fantasy?
First three catches, brother.
He's playing a bunch of girls. I'll ask you though, Flacco, Italian?
You know it.
Now we know. That's all you had to say to the people. Flacco's Italian, therefore I take the Ravens. That's all you had to say. But if you're really going to analyze it, they beat a 0-3 team, throwing against a secondary that you right now tell me who their secondary is, the Rams. Do you know?
I don't know.
Either do I. Exactly. Do you know the Jets secondary?
Yeah.
Who?
Cromartie, Darrelle Revis.
Who's the best defensive back in football?
Darrelle Revis.
Not even a question.
No question.
Games are going to be over. The Jets will win this game.
It's about more than one guy, though.
The Jets will win this game despite the broken nose that Sanchez has. He's, fortunately doesn't throw with his nose. The Jets will win in a very close game.
Ravens by 4.
Mark that down. Paulie, you got game 2. Our beloved Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think the Bills are going to be an awful handful for the Cincinnati Bengals. This team is at the top of its game with all unknown players, unknown leaders here. We got Fitzpatrick, who's throwing the ball all over the place. Freddie Jackson is literally unstoppable.
Freddie.
And Stevie Johnson, who I challenge any of our viewers to say whether they heard of him before this season.
Well, you say it with me. Stevie.
So, and I'll tell you what, you got Marvin Lewis out there guaranteeing a win on Sunday evening.
Well, I guarantee that StogieBoys.com will be the biggest cigar retailer in a week from now. Therefore it is. It is. Marvin Lewis is a desperate soul. He's looking to hang on to his job. They screwed up with the quarterback situation right from the beginning in Cincinnati. They didn't bring in help to support what's his name there, USC, Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
And ever since that, it's just devastating. The San Francisco came into Cincinnati last week and destroyed them. The only thing I'm surprised about is that this is currently, at this time, it's only a 3-point line for the Bills. I mean, that smacks of just, again, people, no respect.
Well, I think you'll see that edge up as the week goes on here.
Well, we'll take a look. The Bills, obviously the #1 offense in football in terms of points scored.
Yeah.
Close in terms of yards. They spanked the Patriots in the second half. They're going to score a minimum of 30 to 35 points against anybody. And, who's the quarterback for Cincinnati?
Oh, you got the rookie, Dalton.
That's your guy.
He is. I like the guy from TCU. He's a competitor.
He's about 4'11". He's about 4'11", and I don't think he can get over Kyle Williams, who's gonna nail, as well as Marcel Darius up the middle. It's going to be. I'm thinking of going to the game. The game's over. I'm going to say. Why don't you tell me what you say? What's the score going to be?
I think the Bills by 6, 28-22.
28 points.
Yeah,
folks. It's going to be a blowout. To the tune of 42-13. The defense of the Bills now, after that second half performance, holding New England several possessions in a row without a score, which is unheard of. 4 interceptions. They're going to come through, and I can't imagine Andy Dalton performing any better than Tom Brady.
Well, Bills got to keep the momentum up.
So what I say? 40. It's going to be 42.
13.
13. That's what it's going to be.
All right, you heard it here first. Okay, Glenn, Our third game we have here is the underdog pick of the week.
Yep.
As Stogie boys and as cigar smokers, we know what it's like to be the underdog, right?
Yep.
Every day we're fighting the anti-smoking folks that want to destroy our pleasure, right? As Stogie boys, we know what it's like to be the underdog as well. We're the up-and-coming cigar retailer in the industry, and we're the fastest growing one at that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, we are.
Everybody likes to root for the underdog, and today we have a great game to pick here. We have Detroit visiting Dallas. Detroit is an underdog by 3.5 points, and we're both picking Detroit in this one, right?
Yeah, first of all, if you were just to start this and show the up here Detroit at Dallas, people would think we're picking Dallas, that Detroit would be favored. I mean, absolutely no respect for the Detroit Lions in this game, being an underdog. However, it makes for an easy underdog pick. You know, Paulie, we're 3-0 as underdog picks this year.
That's
and
right.
by the way, folks, we don't pick against spreads. We bet straight up.
Straight up. Right.
So as you know, after last week's straight up pick against the Buffalo Bills, I think we're going to have some people tuning in because we're so intelligent when it comes to football, obviously, right? Right? Anyway, the Detroit Lions is who we're going with. I mean, you have Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. No one literally can match up against Calvin Johnson. We know that.
That's right.
You have the Sonny Romos coming off of a short week. Last night they looked bad on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
You know, they did win the game, but it was against a average Washington Redskins team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think some of the keys are in this game?
Well, I think Detroit has to, maybe mentally, they have to keep themselves in this game. You know, they're 3-0 coming in, and they're flying high, getting a lot of national attention. They're just going to have to stay mentally focused and keep them momentum.
I don't think Sue is sitting there going, I have to be mentally in a game. They're warriors. They're just dogs. They get to the ball. And by the way, Nick Fairley is going to be, they say he's going to be playing this week.
He is.
You know, and on Dallas's side, you have Miles Austin. Didn't he do Dances with the Stars?
He did.
No, I don't think he did, but he should, right? He was with that Kardashian girl, right? Anyway, he's out. You got Sonny Romo, who I got to give it to him. He played the last couple of weeks hurt. There's no question. He's a tough ball player.
Yeah.
But, you know, what's he going to say when Sue's on him? What's he going to say?
Well, all I would say is I would worry about Tony Romo. I would worry about him a little bit. He carried a team of incredible youngsters making tremendous mistakes yesterday. He carried that team on his back.
Do you see what he just did, folks?
So.
Here's what he did. He just realized that Romo is Italian. And he had to insert that positive comment about Sonny Romo. Listen, the guy, he was with Jessica Simpson. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah. He's the most likely to be a Stogie boy in the NFL.
Well, so. I think the flavored cigars, perhaps. You know what I mean? So anyway, what's your pick for this game? What's the score going to be?
24-20, Detroit.
24-20. I don't think it's that close. I think it's going to be 7 or 8 points. Detroit's going to win. I think your 24 is right. So 24, what's that make? 17?
Yeah.
My math?
That's right.
24-17. Detroit's going to win. I consider them almost like a brethren, being a Buffalo Bills fan. The Bills in Detroit. Let's see those two in the Super Bowl.
Let's see it.
All right, and check out our girls, StogieGirls.com. Check out our deals at StogieBoys.com.
That's right.
And we appreciate your patronage, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Salute.
Salute.